Actually, it's getting more.
Okay. We're going to do the second parak today. And 2 points from Parak Aleph we need to know. After we have the introduction that a Eily Sa'if, the blood is sprinkled on the top, and a Chata Sa'if, the blood is sprinkled on the bottom, then we established that if they get confused, they have to be just left to die. They can't be brought. Because or else it's just going to be puzzle. You can't, if there's an Eily Sa'if that's mixed with the Chata Sa'if, you don't know which one is which, then it has to be put to death. That's what we learned in Parak Aleph Mishnah Bais. The second thing we learned, that's the introduction. Then we learned like this. Let's say I have a bean. This is a bean. This is a bird. Let's say this is a chatas. Chatas. So if the chatas, say this, so each one of these is a nest. Okay, so there's two. There's two in each. Say this woman has two. So if a chatas mixes in to this woman's birds, okay, now there's 5 here. So she can only offer 3 chatais, and the other 2 she can't offer.
Lost that.
If a chatas bird mixes into her, to her bird,
there's only 3 chatas, so you can only use
there's 3 chatas. You can't offer the Eilis. Why? Because every bird that she takes, it could be it's a chat. It could be it's a plain bird that wasn't determined from her, or it could be it's the bird that flew in. Let's say it's a plain bird, so she can offer it as a chatas. Let's say it's the bird that flew in. She can offer it as a chatas, but she can only do that to 3 birds. After that, she can't offer it as a Eila. She's going to want to offer this one as an Eila. This may be the bird that flew in. So basically, she loses all the Eilas if a chatas flew in. Let's say an Eila flew in. So she can offer 3 Eilas and no chatas. Because it could be that's each bird that she takes, it could be as the Eila that flew in. She can't offer it as a chatas because it's puzzle. Right? Based on the introduction, that a chatas that's an Eila, the chatas that's offered as an Eila is puzzle. Okay.
And those were all stumas. So
these are stumas. That's the main point. That's the big deal. These were stumas. If these would be mifarashes, if these would be clearly chatas and Eila, then it would be you wouldn't be able to offer anything.
Okay. Now I understand.
Wait, what's stuma?
Stumas means they have nothing. They're
They haven't been...
no.
One more point. Stumas means that it wasn't designated yet. One more point. Let's say we have let's say we have a woman that has 2 and a woman that has 3. Okay? And they mix together. As we learned in Parak Aleph. And it's not determined which ones are which. So the halacha is going to be that you're only going to be allowed to bring 2. The small 2 pairs. 2, one Eila, one chatas, and another Eila and a chatas. And the reason for that is because this woman's, I can divide it anyway. I can divide it, I put it like this, an Eila and a chatas, but actually it could be divided.
You just put it down.
Could be divided here. If I would use this, then I would. This is her 2 pairs. This is her 2 pairs. I could divide it like that, or I could divide it like that. I just have to do half. Okay, now.
Those are stumas.
These are all stumas, and this ladies are also stumas. Yeah, let's do this for now.
No, you're
Let's
allowed.
do this for now. Let's take
I'm gonna go test the same. This
Just
is
watching new games coming out of this.
And these are all undesignated.
These are all undesignated.
Shango.
Okay, so what happens is they mix together.
Within things like that, stack them up.
So we said we can only bring like the one that has the least amount. Let's say like this. Let's say we offer a chatas. We offer one chatas, and it's from this lady's. All right, it's a chatas. Now, I can offer an Eily as well, because it's not going to mess up with anyone. So I can offer this one. This is I offer as an Eily. This is the chatas. This is the Eily. I offer one as an Eily. So now, it could be that this chatas was meant to go with that one, and this chatas was meant to go with that one, but it doesn't matter. Why? Because I can divide it like that, and I can divide it like that. So I can still offer another one as a chatas and another one as an Eily. Now, so I can do from the smallest, the smaller one. I can't go any further though.
Why don't you just go to the
Because
next
if I go any further and I do another chatas, it's very possible that what I just did was, I just did 3 chatos from this woman. And that's a problem.
Oh, they were all merged together.
They're all mixed together.
But they were all undesignated.
They're all undesignated.
10.
But this woman can only get. See, even though this woman's I can divide any way I want, but I can't.
Okay, make 3.
I can't
You can't
mix
add to
it with this one's and divide them all like that. Each woman has to be divided independently, 2 and 2.
So
And
why
this
would
one is
they?
actually 3 and 3.
So why would the next one be another chatas?
So I'm picking out. I can only pick out 2 birds as a chatas and 2 birds as an
Right.
Eily from this.
So
Why?
the first
Because
4
if
I
I
got.
take out a, that's it, and the rest I'll leave to. I can't do them. I leave to die.
So
can't-
always
there's
Why
nothing I
do
can
the
do
can't,
with
least
why
it.
amount.
can't it be now a chatas from the next lady?
Because they're mixed.
We don't know which is the lady. We don't know whose is whose. So this is. It could have been like this. Yeah,
It's just
you
gonna
know.
make people do the
Could have
least.
been like that, and that would have been perfect if this one is here, because I can still have 3 Eilis now, and that would be perfect. The problem is maybe from this lady's. We don't know. Okay, all of that was the 2 halachas that we learned from the last parak. The first one is
These are allowed.
that if a bird flies in, a designated bird flies in, it has to be brought like, the only ones that could be offered are like the designated. If a chatas flies into a mixture, the only ones that can be brought is a chatas, are the chatais from the mixture. And the second one is you only bring from the minimal, you bring from the smaller amount. Okay, let's start. Start the new parak.
So you would just, after that's done, then you would go to the next grouping?
No, that's what we're saying. You can't.
Wait, just wait for this parak. You'll see.
Okay.
That was all. That was introduction, just to.
Okay.
Because it's.
And just quickly, and what's the reason in that case that there's no bittul?
We don't say bittul by a.
Davar chashuv?
It's considered anything that's alive. It's not batal.
Davar chashuv.
Ein balei chayim b'telim. There's a parak in the Zvachim that started off. If you echad be'elef, it's not batal.
Would the basin let you, what's it called, take 2 certain ones if you thought you knew which one was which?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because you might say that you don't know.
Right. That's a good question.
So
I
it's
don't
the
know
same
what they
fact
will
in
rely
life.
on. How sure you can be. He's asking how sure you can be. Say, yeah, Tvias Ayin. I know that was the one.
Right.
If I'll prove it. It's because of which spot. It says, I can't tell you which spot. I recognize it.
That's good.
It's a Tvias Ayin. You had that in Elam Metzias. Talmud Chacham. You can.
Itchy, you missed a trophy question.
Okay. Konstuma. What's a konstuma? Is let's use this. A konstuma. Because we don't know if it's up or down. Okay, that's a konstuma, yeah? Two birds. One's supposed to be a chatas, one's an ayla, but which one is undetermined? Sheparach min hageizel la'avir. One of them just flew away. Oy sheparach lebein meses. Or
There's two of us.
one second. We didn't discuss what the issue is yet. The issue is going to be, what do you do for the missing one? That's what we're going to discuss. So yeah, the first, we have three options here. Either sheparach bein meses. Now, what would be a meses? Well, in Perek Aleph, we learned that if a oila gets mixed with a chatas, it's mesa. So let's say we had an oila and a chatas that were mixed here, and this bird flew into it. So this is meses. It's confused because these are mefarashes, and now we don't know which one is the oila, which one's the chatas, and which one is the stam. You can't shecht any of them. So we'll see what we need to do. Or one of them just plain died. So we have the three options. La'avir, bein meses, yishemei sechmem, yikach zug l'sheni. You just purchase another one and you can replace it. Now, the same thing would be if it would be mefarashes, even if it was determined. Determined, we already had. This was the way we were determining. One was up, one was down. We determined. Even if it would be mefarashes and one of them flew away, you can still purchase another one and just replace it. Why does it say stuma? Commentaries go wild over it. Okay. Parach lebein akreves. It's going to be a little bit interesting. So, if, let's say these are different people's birds, so if it's parach lebein akreves, it jumps over to another group of birds that's supposed to be brought. So pasal, it's pasal, upaisal echad keneged, and it also makes the one that it left behind pasal. Because a bird that jumps, that flies to another group, is pasal, and it pasals the one before it.
But that's only if it's
Should we wait or should we explain?
I understand
Without-
the three
Can
being
that only be
a
if it's
problem.
stumas?
Stimulus. Okay, we're talking about stimulus. Yeah, let's discuss it like
I
this.
understand the three being a problem, but the one, we just learned you can buy a new one.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
this
I
is
understand
crazy.
the one. I don't understand the three.
Okay. Let's take a moment to explain it. Let's say this woman has one. The Gemara is gonna go through it. This woman has two. This woman, these are stumas. This woman has three, and over here we can already stop. Okay, now what happens is, ideally, you see the 1 and the 2 is going to be a problem. Let's continue on to the 4, and then we'll 1, 2. Let's start from the 3. Let's start from the 3 because the 1 and the 2 are slightly confusing.
This is a new game in the
Okay.
making.
This woman, this is 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs, okay?
Yeah.
So, let's say one of the 3's birds, can you see, Professor? One of the 3's birds jumps to this one.
He's trying to figure out what kind of bird it is.
Now, look at what's going to happen here. We don't know Chatas Eily, there's no designation yet. So there's no designation. Now, this woman is left with 5. If she offers 2 as a Chatas, 2 as an Eila, which is great. So far, that's what she should do. 2 as a Chatas, 2 as an Eila. Then she offers the next one as an Eila. Okay, so she just determined that this is going to be a chatas. Right? What's the halacha if a chatas mixes in to a group of stumas? We learned in Perek Aleph, you have to offer only the chatos. All the oilas are lost. So how many birds would be lost here? There were 4 pairs. You would lose 4 birds.
Right.
So we say this one here should not be offered. Because if this is offered, then you lose 4 birds here. That's clear, right? This is
Why would you lose the 4?
because if this is offered as an Eila, that turns the one that flew into it as a chatas
Oh, so
automatically.
Right.
Now a chatas that mixes into stumais makes that you're only allowed to offer the chatas, because everyone that you offer could be the one that flew in. That's a chatas. So all the oilas you don't offer. So, but I can divide it any way I want, but I have to only offer chatas. That means I lose 4 birds. So when the Mishnah says shagoizel pereach pasal echid kenegdei, it pasels one back here, which would be this one, pasels it in order to protect the new group. It also is pasel. Why? Because if I shech this as anyone, let's say I shecht it as a Eila. Let's say I shecht it as, it doesn't matter, but let's say I shecht it as an Eila. So now, what's going to happen
That's what if you did that
back
as
here? Then this is a chatas. Then I lose 2 of the birds here, because I can only shecht chatas. So what we're going to say is like this. Every time a bird jumps from one to another, you lose 1 in this group, and you lose 1 in this group. So,
Maximum damage. Flew the coop. I said that.
through the coop.
See everything up.
Okay, let's take a look now at the Mishnah. Now there are secondary issues here. The secondary issue is that if I'm going to shecht all of the ones in this group, I'm going to end up with 4 oilas possibly from this group, because one of them, because I'm supposed to only have 3 oilas. I may end up shechting 4 oilas. That's a secondary issue that I'm going to have. That's going to be a problem, because one of the one that flew here is going to be, if I shecht all of the ones from here, then I'm going to end up with an extra oila possibly from that group.
Can't you, since one of the birds flew anyway, you don't know which, and since those are undesignated, can't you just take one from there and put it with the other group?
It's an interesting
And then
solution.
you have an even amount again.
No, what then I'm going to happen is, what did we learn in Mishnah Perek Aleph, Mishnah Gimel?
I was trying
That
to
if I
think back
have,
to
look,
what
what we
said
learned
about
before is if I
mixing
have 2 women and their groups get mixed together, I can only shecht, like this case, I have 2 in one group, in 2 groups, I can only shecht according to the one.
smaller number.
I can only shecht a smaller number. So if you would take a full pair and put it in there, I would only be able to shecht 2 in total.
But this other way, how much are you losing?
Like this, I'm losing 1 from this and 1 from this. So it's a total of, this was 6 and 8.
So you can still do the
6
2
and 8.
chatas there and 4 chatas there.
So I'm shechting still 12. No, I'm shechting not 12.
You're doing
Yeah,
that you would be doing 3 and 2.
I'm losing
No, you'd be doing
1
4.
from here,
You're losing
an
one.
extra 1 from here,
Right.
I was
and an
the
extra
and
one
1 here.
Right. That's
So
all you would
I'm
lose.
shechting 12. Out of 14, I'm shechting 12. Kate said, let's see Mishnah Bais. We'll go through it, and hopefully it'll be easier when we see it inside. Kate said, Shtei Nashim. Lazu Shtei Kinnim, or Lazu Shtei Kinnim. We start off with the case of two women, and each one has two. Let's do it.
Pairs?
2 pairs. Okay, 2 and 2. These are the 2 women that we're dealing with. 2 and 2. Parach mizu lezu. One flies into this one. Paisel echad balichase. It passes one, this one that's back here, when it went. Chazar. Let's say one flies back. We don't know which one flew back. So paisel echad b'chazirase. It passes one over here as well. Parach v'chazar uparach. Parach v'chazar uparach. The chazar lo yefsid klum. You're not going to lose any more than what you lost the first time. Shafilu hein muraves ein paches mishtayim. Even if you would mix both of these together, I would still be allowed to offer 2 pairs. Chatas and two chatais. Because look, let's say I do 2 chatais and they came from the same woman.
That's okay.
It's fine. She is allowed to have 2 chatais. Let's say I do, and now I do 2 eilas. Let's say it came from the other woman. She's allowed to have 2 eilas.
But that's it.
And I didn't mess anything up. Nothing was puzzle yet.
Then,
Follow? And definitely, if it went like that, that would be good. I can't. And there's no more. I'm not shechting any more than what's possible. You know, could be that I shechted a chatas and an ayla and an ayla. It's also good. I didn't do my last ayla. It's fine. I didn't do my last chatas rather. Into my last chatas. Okay, so that's an option. Okay, now let's see what happens now. Let me start off with it simple, then the next one it lowers it down a level. So let's see. You ready? Let's see.
This is where the game gets complicated, guys.
He's level 5.
His hands start moving really quick now.
To see which one.
Follow
Not gonna work.
Can you guys
watch
tell
the hands fall the
beans?
beans.
That's a nice.
Yeah, we don't even have enough there. Okay.
Look, there's one over there.
This one here. How many do I have on that? That's 8,
There's
9, 10.
Right, where's all
Okay, this is the 5. This is the 5. Okay,
exactly enough.
so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It goes to 6 and 7.
Oof.
But
That's beyond our...
okay. Now,
Look at
Lezua
the
I
paparazzi.
got the game.
Lezua achas. This woman has one group, has 1 pair, which means she has 2 birds.
How much you can stack on them down?
Okay, 1 pair means 2 birds. All right. Lezu shtayim. The next woman has 2 pairs, which is 4 birds. Lezu gimel. Next one has 3 pairs, which is 6. Lezu dalet. Next one has 4 pairs, which is 8. Lezu hey. Next one has 5, which is 10. Lezu vav. Next one has 6 pairs. Lezu zayin. And next one has 7 pairs, total of 14. You ready? Parach min harishayna l'shniya. A bird flew from the first one to the second one. And then a bird flew from the second one to the third one.
Ooh, that's fun.
And then l'shniya, b'l'shlishis, l'reviyas, it went to the next one. And then it went to l'chamishis. And then it went to the shishis. And then it went to the shriyas. Okay, now, so far so good. But v'chazar, now it goes back. It goes this way. And it goes back here, 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 and it goes back there.
I truly.
Now, what's going to be the halacha? So, Pais.
He took the same one though. It doesn't.
It
It
wasn't.
It could be anyone.
Could be anyone.
Could be anyone actually.
It could have mixed along the way in any spot.
Right.
And it could have switched
Flying
back in the
between
middle.
groups Unless they're specifically marked, but if they're specifically marked, you'd know. Then you can move it back yourself if it was
Yeah,
specifically
if it was marked.
You don't know.
Otherwise,
You know-
you really don't know if it's the same bird.
Right.
You know, it's funny when you watch by 6th Avenue at 5 o'clock where all the birds lined up. That typically happens where, you know, on the line, one bird will jump in and the other bird that was there will jump over to another more roomy spot. But you see a lot of this jumping going on.
So it's a practical thing.
There's something that goes on. I don't know what
So who was-
situations it allows and what's territorial, but I've seen jumping.
Yeah.
Someone was
you
doing
told me,
research. I
Professor.
forget who this was. Someone was telling me about which bird flies in the front and how they alternate. Because the one in the front has to work the hardest because of the
Wave, the winds.
Resistance.
It's aerodynamics. When the go on is the
So which one goes in the front? How do they choose that? They make
The
a
next
girdle?
Turns, they take
The
turns.
second one.
How do they take
Well,
turns?
no,
What's
just
the
in
order?
back,
Oh, really? The one in the
because it was getting carried.
Another question.
so how do they know?
You have a soldier.
What did you answer?
Very good. He said the one that's in the back because that was the lightest. But I don't know if that's actually true. Probably
starts
they're
the first
all
time?
have the same
No,
the same ease. I don't know. Okay,
when you have aerodynamics.
sorry, I distracted you. Now,
It's a question for the birds.
what's the Paisel echad balichase vechad bachazirase? Okay. Now follow the halacha. We know what just happened. The bird went from one to the next to the next to the next as an individual bird. When it left the first one, it leaves that one puzzle. Now I only showed you the case in the third and the fourth, and the explanation was because it would puzzle all the remaining ones. Now in Aleph and Bais, it doesn't actually matter, because when this one goes here, you say, "Oh, this is a big problem. If you're going to shech this one, then you're only going to be able to shech. This is going to be an Eily. You'll only be able to have the remaining one a chatas. You're going to lose out on all the other Eilas that you don't have any stumas. These are all stumas. So it doesn't actually apply to the first and second case. The second one I'll explain in a minute why it doesn't apply. Nevertheless, the reason that it applies for the third and fourth, we apply it to the first and second as well, even though the logic isn't really there. So Harishon Veshni Ein Lem Klum. Let's explain why. When the second one flew to the third one, okay, so it left one puzzle. I can't shech this one. It's going to mess up all of the third Eilas. If I shech this as a Eila, this is going to be a chatas. I can only shecht in the third one, only chatais. I'm going to lose out 3 Eilas. It's going to be a problem.
So take that one away.
I don't know where it is. Now what happens is that this comes back, or maybe this one comes back, and one of them flies here. Remember that? Because it b'chazarase. Now I can't shecht another one of these, which leaves me with, if this, each time it flies, it puzzles another one that it leaves behind. So really, in the first and second one, I can't shecht any of them. Let's see why. I can't shecht. I can only shecht 2 now in this one. Now one flies over here. Every time it leaves, before I only had 2 to shecht, and now there's an extra one that flew in, but we don't know if that's the one. But from the original group, it puzzles 1. Okay, let's go further. The first one, it was clear why there's Ein Lem Klum, because once it flies away, I can't shech this because I'll ruin the second group. Now the real issue here, what's not being stated, is when one flies from the first to the second, I can't shech the first one. Why? Because it's going to puzzle the second group. What's it going to puzzle in the second group? If I shech this as an oila in the second group, this is going to be a chatas, and I lose the oilas of the second group. What's the problem? The second group, I can't shecht any of them anyway. So really, I could shecht the first one. Why can't I shecht the second group? Because the second group had one that flew to the third, and had one that flew back to the to the first. So the second group I can't shecht anyway. So just shecht the one that's left in the first, because that's so. For that, the commentaries say that because that's the halacha in the third, fourth, fifth, sixth,
Then it applies
where it
that.
does apply, so we apply it to the first and second as well, even though you don't have the same logic there. Okay.
If there's three of the original remaining in the second group,
Not necessarily.
that's
Maybe
okay.
only two of the original. Hashlishis, the third group, yesh la'achas. Yesh la'achas means it has one pair. Let's see why. One flew here, came back, let's say, but then another one flew here. So every time it flies away, it passels one that's remaining. So I can't shech this, I can't shech that, I only have one pair that's remaining. Now the truth is that one of them flew to the second, which doesn't really matter. But nevertheless, that halacha would still apply. Okay. Haravias yesh lashtayim, with the same logic. The fourth group that had 8, 4 pairs, so it would still have a remaining, because 2 flew away, one flew that way and one flew that way, so with that passes the other 2, but it would still have 2 pairs left. Chamishas yesh lashalish, bashishas yesh la'arba, bashvias yesh lashesh. And the 7th would still have 6. Basically, you lose